Cool. All right. Warm welcome again to a another client interview. And today we have two special guests, and very excited to actually do this interview because Mika joined this interview already ready. He thought we were going to just kick it off immediately. He was like, "Yeah, it's going good. Let's talk." So, with that excitement, we're going to take this interview. I want to thank you both for coming here, Juliette and Mika. Juliette and Mika are business partners. They've been running their agency now for some time. We'll get into that in just a second. I want to get to the bottom of how you guys have started your agency, what you guys have done, the entire journey, the path that we've been on, because it's been almost, I think, a year. I think it's been longer than a year that we've talked, and a little bit shorter of a year, I think, that we've worked together. I think,
Yeah,
and we've,
right.
yeah, right. So,
Yeah,
uh,
before summer.
before summer, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So it's been quite a while, and we've made quite a journey from one specific niche to another that you guys are doing right now. I'm not going to spoil too much because people need to watch. So why don't we start with a short introduction, if you both, maybe to start off with you, Juliette, ladies first, of course. Maybe to tell us a little bit more about yourself, who you are, what you do, and pretty much like start with that so people have an overview on what you do right now. Same goes for you then, Mika. And then we'll just kick it back completely way back to where you guys started the agency and how the journey began.
of course. Well, my name is Juliette. I'm one of the co-founders of Miu Marketing. And well, together with Mika, we're like running Miu for now for like 2 years, I think. And where Mika is really like the sales guy, I'm really like the marketing side of the business. So I help all the people, like the clients, the freelancers, do all the strategies and yeah, everything around marketing.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. Mika?
Yeah, my name is Mika. What Juliette already told is I'm like the sales guy, and that's also like the biggest strength about like Mio marketing. It's like the combination of marketing and sales, or like content and data. So it's like two big strengths, and that I think that's like the biggest thing in marketing what other companies don't do, like the combination of those two.
Right. Right. 100%. You both, as CEOs, I would say, have your strengths, which we kind of unfolded in the beginning immediately when you both were doing kind of a blend of you a little bit on this, Juliette a little bit on that. And now we've kind of, put it in such a place where you both are focusing on the main thing. But as I said, we'll get into that in just a second. Let's start with why you guys started in this industry. Different people have different reasons for getting started in the agency space. What was your guys' reasonings, and then how did you get started in this space?
Juliette, are you going to tell? Yeah, of course. Well, it's been a long story, how we started like Miu marketing. Before this, Mika was like organizing events and I was doing at the events the marketing side. So I did like everything around like social media and stuff like that. And but I knew that Mika was really good like with sales, with people and everything. And from my point of sight, I was really good with the marketing, but like didn't want to start like the agency on my own, and I think Mika had the same. So we started to have both of our strengths, like we said before, to start like new marketing, and yeah, that's how we actually started.
Yeah, so in addition, like a few months before we started, I already told Juliet like, hey, you have to do something with marketing. You are so like good level of marketing, and if you have like some sales expertise, you can bring it to like any company in the Netherlands. But then she was like, I'm not able to do it. I don't know how to start, but I have my events. And at some moment, I was a bit done with the events because it was so local. I had to be like at every party, at every event. Some events were like in the night, so my total rhythm was like, yeah, like some days I was living like in like during the day, some
Mm,
days like in the night. So I was like, okay, I have to do something online so I can travel. And that was the
mm,
moment I was like asking Juliet, hey, do you want to start the agency together?
right.
And that was like 2 years ago.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, so 2-year journey. And tell us a little bit more how so that's kind of also what inspired you guys to start working together then. You saw both your strengths in
Mm.
specific realms of like or parts of like the agency. And so how did it then start? Like how did you guys begin? How did that go?
Wow, we did like everything. I think it's like typical for like a starting marketing agency to do like everything for everyone. So we did like organic social, we did like paid ads, we were designing websites, and we did it literally for everyone. So for like local companies, but also for e-commerce. So it was yeah, a lot in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, I also remembered like our first client was like we had to make like posts on LinkedIn for their local company. But we were so happy that we were able to sign clients by our own. Of course, it's not that hard, like, but the feeling when it's like I had done sales like for any company with like
Mm.
freelancing project, but for your own company is a different feeling, like signing your first client without any expertise, like with not having any company before. It's great, and that's yeah, it was funny, but then yeah,
And
after
it
a
was like
while,
for 300 euros or something.
yeah,
It was like nothing.
yeah,
uh, that's how the usual I'll usually hear that people start, with doing all kinds of different niches, all kinds of different offers, crazy things that we do for, and you end up like overdoing what you do for the clients, and if you compare with what you get, and like if you look back at it, you're like, what were we doing? But everyone's got to start somewhere, I guess, right? So it makes a lot of sense. And so walk us through that journey. Like you guys started, and then you ended up signing clients. How did it go like in the first year? Like walk us through how were you guys able to like go really quickly from working the jobs and then moving slowly into full-time agency? Like walk us through that
yeah,
first year just to give people like an idea.
Yeah. Do you want to start?
yeah. Like I had like many contacts in the Netherlands because I was freelancing already for a few years. So one of my biggest freelance projects, like in the past, they said like, what do you need to give it like a quick boost? Like I'm trusting you to. So they were paying like us like I think 2,000 euros a month to just do marketing, like in the broad word of marketing. So they give like a Kickstarter for agencies, so we were able yeah to pay something instead of um having like a full-time job separate of starting an agency. So that was really nice. And yeah, I'm really good to talk to people and to see what the problems are. If it is like a website or a LinkedIn post or like social media ads or email marketing. And instead of saying no and finding the dream client, I was pitching everything. So I was like, okay, you need a website? Okay, we can do it for 800 euros. Okay, 700. Okay, deal. Then I told Juliette, like, hey, we have a new client. They want to have a website. And Juliette was like, but how do you make a website? You can do it. I trust you. So she was watching like YouTube tutorials, and then she had like another client with like email marketing. And Juliette is really fast in learning things about marketing. And she likes everything, but like in the end, it's not like the best way to grow your agency with different tests, different client, different projects. But that was like the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So you guys just went with it and pretty much not even knowing what you needed to do, you which I always say, like, right, like in the blueprint, like sell the client and then figure out how to do it, but have full confidence in your ability to do it and be ethical about it, not just selling
Mm,
someone to just sell someone and then not do anything, right? You want to deliver a good service. So
yeah.
um that being said, then when that first year came about, and you guys started working, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I met you guys like last year, you were both like doing mainly like local, it was local, right? Businesses,
Mm,
Yeah.
all kinds of different businesses. Now, I believe there were some e-commerce, right? As you mentioned.
yeah,
Yeah.
one or two. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one or two. And then, as you said, Juliette, just before the summer, I think we started getting in touch, started talking, and started seeing what would make sense. How were your guys' processes and like the entire business structure before we got in contact and before we started even chatting? How did everything look? Just to give people an idea of before we started.
Well, we didn't have any structure. Like the entire sales process was in the head of Micah, so I didn't know anything because it wasn't like in a place where I can check it out, like what was the current status of sales. And for marketing, there wasn't even a structure too. I mean, like every day was looking like, okay, what should I do? I don't know. And then I was just getting to the day without like a planning or anything. That was
Uh,
really like how it was.
I remember there was like 1 month where we were able to add like the first 10K in 1 month, and that was like the first like goal when you were starting like your own company, like 10K. But then we were so stressed because we were not able to do the delivery well. And one of the biggest uh, advantage about working with us, our communication is always 10 out of 10. So you can chat with us, like call us, like we respond like yeah within 24 hours, like for sure. So we had like really good like relationship with our clients, but we had so much headspace that we were not able to have like a 10 out of 10 delivery. So we were able to deliver like a 6 or 7, but because we were like kind of friends with them, they were like, okay, I am okay with the results and I like you guys. So we were extending the deal, but we were like stressed. We were
Yeah.
working like 70 hours a week without any plan. So it was not healthy.
And not efficient at all because we were doing like paid ads, we were building funnels in high level. We did like everything still. We didn't like had a structure like, okay, we only do paid ads or email marketing. No, we still did everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then we started chatting. Tell us how did that go? How did that process go from you guys having all those clients, still hitting 10K, still doing pretty good, right? And
Mhm.
then how did everything unfold when we started chatting? Like what were kind of the bottlenecks you guys were facing other than what you just mentioned? And kind of the inspiration to maybe start working with us.
Yeah. One thing I remember was like we had like a first call, just chit-chatting like about anything about the agency, and you were like, "Okay, can you tell me something more about like the sales strategy? How do you sign clients? How do you make like appointments?" And I told you everything, and you were like, "How are you doing it?" Because I mentioned that I had like 10 appointment setters, and
Yeah.
you were like, "10? But
Yeah.
your turnover is 10K, right?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, yeah, but okay, but you have like Stefan, you had like 2 appointment setters and like a bigger company. Why do you need 10?" I was like, yeah, then how more, how better? And you were like, no,
Yeah.
no, that's not true. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing so. It's not efficient. You can manage like 10 people. I was like, okay, how more people, how more appointments, like it's going okay, but you can better invest like in A players, building like a team you can trust instead of
Yeah.
yeah 50 people who are working a bit.
Exactly. Exactly. I remember that one thing being we talked about like almost for 2 calls before you guys started. And I was like, man, just ditch like probably one or two of your setters are doing almost all of the work and they're getting like the best results for you. And you're like, yeah, but isn't more like better? I'm like,
Yeah.
and we I will never forget that. So like and then we of course talked and then you guys like jumped on in that sense. So walk the people through how that went, like when we started, because you guys already, as I said, had a good foundation, had the ambition to go in a different niche. Talk the people through to how we did that, how that went, that process, because it wasn't easy, to be very clear. You were both doing like
Mhm.
a blend of tasks in the beginning.
Yeah.
So walk them through like how that went.
Juliette, are you going to tell? Because that's more the like the delivery part.
Yeah. Well, do you mean like from the beginning when we started with
Yeah.
the, yeah, okay. Well, in the beginning, it was really like seeing like, okay, what are we doing right now? And do we still need to do everything or going to choose like one task, for example? So in the beginning, we just like did like everything, like funnel page. We created like creators, but we also did like the paid ads. We did like everything. So the first step was like, okay, we have to skip like something because we cannot do everything for everyone. And I think that was the first part like that we did. And when we finally choose something, it was really nice because then we had like a goal, like, okay, we're only going to do like paid ads and email marketing for e-commerce. And then the transition started, and it was quite hard in the beginning, because we had to learn like everything for e-commerce. But I have to say, like, you guys had like so many things we could use for like e-commerce, and it was so nice because that made it so easy for, not easy, but way more easy for me to start with like focusing on e-commerce, because you guys had like all the things we could use. For example, like even like only the tracking sheet. It was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. In addition, like for me, like we had chosen like e-commerce as like our main niche, like the only niche we were doing like services for. But it was not like the biggest thing we had like at that moment. Like I think maybe 20%, maybe even 15, 10% of the company we had was focusing on e-commerce. So we were making like a big transition to like e-commerce. And the reason why we did it was because of the maximum potential of the help of you guys. You guys had like a much expertise in e-commerce. Juliette, you really liked the delivery side of e-commerce with the 2, 3 clients we had. So it was not an easy choice. It was not okay, we are really good in this and we are focusing already for 60, 70% of this. No, it was like a big transition. But
Yeah.
yeah, because of you guys.
Right. So like just for people to understand, you guys went from having like a complete like local like lead gen agency in a sense, where you did a couple of other things as well, to wanting to transition to e-commerce as an agency. In my opinion, probably one of, if not the toughest niche to start when you don't have any results. And the service delivery part, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, but in my opinion, the service delivery part, when you compare it to local lead gen, when you compare it to e-commerce as an agency, what you need to do, it's a completely different ballgame. Like it doesn't even come close to like what you need to do on lead gen part, like UGC creators, different types of content, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. So tell the people, because we of course started with the goals and of course the infrastructure and setting up like the goals and the tasks that you guys need to do. At the end of last year, I remember we had the mastermind as well, where you guys also were. And we talked a lot about like your guys' roles in the business, which is also one of the things we talked about. How did that then go? Like, because you guys had those clients of local lead gen, how did the transition find place, and how did you guys experience that transition to like e-commerce? For maybe some people watching this as well who want to go from maybe local lead gen to e-commerce and don't know where to start. Like, what would you guys tell them, and how did that process look like for you guys working with us in terms of like really learning and going towards the learning curve of local lead gen to e-commerce? Because I remember it wasn't easy, right? But talk us through.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like you are not going to say bye to all your lead clients because you need some cash flow. So you are going to have like a focused transition, but you want to still deliver like at least something to your lead clients. So your focus is not 100% on e-commerce because of your existing clients. And like from my perspective, like I had to find like e-commerce, um, yeah, like the store, like how do I explain like all my sales systems were like focusing on like the local
Yeah.
company. So I had to make like a switch, like in the page, like in the cold script. So I had to make a transition like from the beginning. And at the beginning, it's really tough to have like a different kind of page and a different kind of client. So we had to wait for like the first 2, 3, 4 new e-commerce clients. So the transition was really tough because we were not focusing 100% on e-commerce. Well, we wanna have like the 100% focus. So we're making the transition from less local companies and more e-commerce companies, but that was like taking for 3 or 4 months. So it was not in a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so when you were transitioning that, then you, Juliette, of course, learning all the, service delivery parts. And I remember I was having a lot of calls about like triple wheel and like all of the
Yeah.
systems for like e-commerce. Um, Tell us a little bit more how that transition went, because it's almost like you having a job and starting an agency where you want to have earnings on the agency and then lower the time you spend on the job, right?
Yeah.
This was like the same, because you guys were doing around 10K, but then wanting to go in a different niche where you don't really have clients. So how did that go? Like did you guys end up like building? I know the answer, of course, but for the people, like, did you guys get like a couple of clients on e-commerce and then slowly let these clients like go away? how did that go? Like was it difficult? Tell us.
Yeah, like in the beginning, we thought like, oh, we can manage to do both because should be easy. But then I was doing like the delivery part of site, and it was way harder than I thought. Like I had to learn like everything new about email marketing, about how I manage like e-com ads, like also like UGC creative. So everything was new, and we had to let go of some of our old local lead gen clients, and that was really a hard part because you don't want to let go clients because then you see like, okay, we're going to earn less. But in the end, it was way better because we get like a lot of time, and with the time we got back, I could be better like in the delivery, and we can get more e-compliance because we had better results in the end. So that was the way we should do it. But in the beginning, it felt really strange because you don't want to let go of clients that you managed to do for a while. So yeah.
Right. And so when that happened, when you guys like were getting e-commerce clients, how did signing of the first clients go? Like how did that go? Because I know the offer structure was different than we have now, but how did you guys go from, pretty much like having no clients in e-commerce, no case studies to use in e-commerce almost, to now having the amount of clients that you have? Like how did that go?
I remember the first e-com client, and they signed immediately like for 1 year, and we were like, whoa, this is really cool for 1 year e-com client. And now I'm looking back, like, I don't know, they paid like not much for email marketing and also like paid ads. So I understand that they signed the contract for 1 year because it was like a no-brainer for them because it was so little amount they had to pay like every month, and we do like still a lot. um so that was really fun because right now we're looking back like we understand that they signed for 1 year. But it was really nice. The first ecom client after a while, really nice brand, and we could learn like a lot of things. So that was really, a good thing about it.
Yeah, and like from sales perspective, it's always good to be confident, but also to be honest, like I maybe sometimes mentioned like not that much. I think maybe 3 or 4 times like that I had like a course at you, Stefan, that we were making a transition from local to e-commerce, that we were like motivated and that we were able to give like a small guarantee or like something like to give them like trust. So we were not able to ask like the prices we ask nowadays, but we were able with like the confident and yeah like the small guarantee to try working with us, like not nothing more than that.
Right, right. And that's, I think, what also got you guys into, well, that's the best thing you can do. Have a client where you can practice on, where you can learn it on, and of course, get the experience. Kind of similar thing what you guys did with the local, if I hear correctly, like kind of build it up again from practice. So when you look back at like all the systems that we now have implemented, like we have team members, we have on the front end, on the sales, we have people. On the back end, you have a lot of people, Juliette. How did that process go? Like, for example, if you take a look at maybe end of last year to now, and how did you guys find also the work that we did together in terms of structuring it up so it stays efficient as it's staying right now?
Yeah, I think like with the sessions with you guys, you were really like, okay, what are you doing right now daily? And then like, what can we make sure that someone else is going to do it? Like, what can you outsource? And I think it was like day by day, step by step that we were outsourcing things. So we started, for example, with video edits. I was doing it all by myself and also like managing everything. And that was the first thing that we like outsourced to a freelancer. And then it was really like going kind of natural. Like every time when I was doing something, like I don't want to do this by my own anymore. We need somebody new. And like for me, it was like in no time we had like a team. It felt like that. And then of course you get like new things you have to learn because how are you going to manage a team? That's also like a whole new thing. But I think you guys really helped me with everything, like how I can manage it, how I can find people, how I can find A players and not like B players because you only want like the best. Yeah, that was really great about it, like the help from you guys.
How many SOPs did you make?
A lot.
It's always what I ask here, like how many SOPs do we end up making? Because like always like we have so many, and in the notion, of course, that we work, and every time I see it and everything that you guys are doing, it's great to see. It takes a lot of work, but once you have it set up, like it's almost like you duplicate yourself in a sense. You know, how did you find that, Micah? Because you of course also have, like, we have the team now on, at least, you know, team members on the sales front. How did that go? Because we talked about the 10 appointment setters. How does it look now?
Yeah, that's quite fun, because we had like a big sales team when we were starting, and Juliette was like managing like all of the marketing in her own. So one thing I remember from one session was I went back like to one or two setters, like of course, so managing them like daily, so checking calls daily. And I had made like systems for them because of you guys. You told me like, hey, you have to use systems, but I was not using the system. So Stefan, you asked me like, how can you ask your setters to use the system if you don't use it by yourself? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing it still by my head. It's going okay, but it was going okay. But you can't ask something from your team if you are not doing it by yourself. So they have to see that you take the same responsibility that you ask from them. So you have to be like a CEO. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm understanding now what I'm doing wrong. So I have to do it by myself first. So show them how to do it, and then they can do it by themselves. So I was, yeah, I don't know the right word, but I was a bit like in the beginning, still not doing it. Well, I have to do it.
Yeah, and I remember because your personality type is of, you know, sometimes freestyling, which is kind of also your strength, but it's also a pitfall. And whereas Juliette is more, I would say, structured, which we kind of figured out in the beginning. So like making sure that you can build on both those strengths and know what your strengths are and your weaknesses is, I think, a very important thing. And one thing we're still working on, of course, in the sessions that we have, which is, what is your guys' strength? What can you build on so that you can lead well? Because you guys are now coming into the phase of, you know, wanting to scale to even more, like we've, you know, tens of thousands of a month, and then leading the team as well in a good way, right? Making sure that you are good leaders and good examples for them. And it starts with you doing it yourself in a sense. So and tell us something, like, what was something you surprised you guys about the collaboration that we did? What was something that like maybe surprised you, or like stood out, or like was something you guys thought like, didn't know that before?
Yeah, for me, number one, the knowledge. You know everything. Yeah,
I wouldn't say everything, but
yeah, but yeah, like yeah, you are like so many years like in the agency space, and you are like coaching now for a few years, and you can see it, so you feel it. You like the knowledge is like 10 out of 10 for me.
I agree.
Right, 100%. So appreciate that. Thank you. So and what has your experience been like with let's say you know, getting that first e-commerce client? Tell the people a little bit more, like, to what point you guys have scaled it right now. And I'm not only talking about like clients and what price points kind of you guys are asking right now, because it's becoming bigger and bigger. Maybe also that, but then also like, how does the team structure look right now? Just to give people an idea to, you know, the level you guys scaled it at, because you did it in quite a quick time, I would say personally, like to build like an e-commerce agency from scratch to the point that you guys have it now. It's pretty good. It's pretty like, I gotta say it. So how does that look like, you know, how are have the results been like in terms of like where you guys are right now?
Yeah, I think if I start like with the sales part, and then Juliette can more tell about like the delivery and team structure. Like we have like sessions with each other to find like the dream clients, and I am selling now like a no to some people, and it feels a bit strange in the beginning because you are like focusing like on turnover, like the amount of clients, like how more are better. But then in the end, you know, okay, if someone is not like a dream client, after a while you are going to know it, like with the team and like the delivery. So yeah, now we are really strict like with the appointment setting and with like signing new clients. So if we now sign a client, it is a dream client. And then from that point, maybe you can tell Juliette more.
Yeah, like even with the delivery, like of course in the beginning it was not 10 out of 10, But I think just like you said, like in a really short time, we went for like, for example, 6 out of 10 to like the 10 out of 10. So it was really quick. And we have like, if I look at our team, we started with like video editors, of course. Then we had like our first marketer who did like everything. And I found out like I did everything in the beginning, and then I had my marketer, and she was also like doing everything. So it wasn't like efficient because she was doing exactly the same that I did before. So then we started like with media buyer, like hiring a media buying buyer, creative designer, email marketer. Now everyone in the back end is doing what they can do like 10 of 10. So everyone is doing the things that they can do, and yeah, it's just like the best. I mean, when we get like a new client, we know exactly what we're going to do, and the people who are going to work on the project, they're like 10 of 10. So that's really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's also what we did wrong. Like a few months ago, we were like changing like our service a bit, or changing like something a bit to sign a client, because we were thinking, okay, if we have now more turnover, we can maybe hire new team members. But to change something, it's making so big impact like in the organization. Well, if you do exactly what you want with the team members, would do exactly where they like 10 out of 10 be in, then if you sign a client, it's going so smoothly, which give more motivation to the team members, more delivery, like more good feedback, more, yeah, everything is going like better, like even the motivation of the appointment setter. So signing a one client is making a big impact.
Got it. Makes a lot of sense. So we're talking about a team. We're talking about a big team in that sense. So you guys went from like, I don't know when you signed like the first one, I think it was November last year or something. No, I
Yeah,
think.
November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point now where do you guys have any like local lead gen clients anymore?
Yeah.
Few.
Still a few.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, like I think 3.
yeah.
Not much.
Okay, so there's still I know that there's just a few left. And then in terms of the e-commerce one, it outweighs the local legions completely. So with
Mm.
that team that you guys have, like what you just mentioned, and you guys managing them, how many active clients like have you guys been able to get like within November to what is it now? June? Like what are we kind of talking about in terms of manage? Because we're talking about, as you said, Klaviyo, Meta Ads, because we started with Klaviyo as well, and then Meta Ads, Google Ads as well, right? So like different types of services, but like considering you have such a team, like what do people need to know about like, you know, you have like, for example, a media buyer, how many clients can they manage, and how does that look for you guys, like in terms of the clients that you have?
Yeah, how many clients they can manage. Like we all also like asking like our freelancers like how many work can you do, and what is like um how I'm going to say, like how many clients can you manage, and then we're going to check like, okay, they can manage this kind of clients, they say. Then we're going to test it, like is it really that they can manage so many clients. And then when we need like a person more, we're going to find another A player to add to our team, because we want to scale, and I think our team needs to scale with us, but we're not going to overload them with a lot of work, because then in the end it will not be like positive to our organization.
Right. And Mika?
Yeah, and what's like the biggest improvement with like new team members? Like everything is so structured that if we need to find a new video editor, it's not that like everyone has like their own ownership, so they're like responsible for their task for the clients. But it's not that we are not able to replace them. Of course, we don't want to replace them, but if someone, yeah, there's something happening or anything can happen, we can replace someone, or we can add someone really quickly, because everything is so structured. So they know exactly what to do, like after a few days, weeks. So we can be like up and running with some new team member really quick.
Like everything is like documented, like structured. We made so many videos, so many looms. So when a new person is starting, it doesn't take a lot of time for us. Of course, we will have like daily check-ins, but it doesn't take a lot of time anymore. In the beginning, more, but now it's like yeah, really easy to do that.
I love it. Yeah. And what are your guys' goals for the next 6 to 12 months? You mentioned scaling also with team members. What are your guys' goals? Like what do you want to reach with the business now, considering it's summer, close to summer now. So we have 6 months left in this year. So where are you guys looking to go to in the next 6 to 12 months?
We are ambitious, but that's good. So we are thinking, but yeah, it's still business, so we can't know everything. But we want to grow exponentially because like Q4 is, of course, for e-commerce the best 3 months, and like our big goal, like in the end of the year, is 50K a month. But that's ambitious, but that's good.
I mean, it's better to be ambitious than to have, like a smaller goal. So like, okay, and how do you guys see, like for example, if you look back at this, like, and then we'll round it up because we've been going almost for like 40 minutes with this session. Time flies. So first question, how like what has been your guys' experience with like other parties, and then how do you think we compare to them in terms of like the systems that we've set up over the course of this period?
I think you give like everything we need to scale. Like other parties, like we did also another course, and then they got like a lot of information, but it was too much information and we didn't knew what to do. And you guys are like, okay, now we're going to do this, then we're going to this. And it was really like almost natural how everything went. It was so smooth that we like grew like really hard and we scaled really hard with our business without even seeing it, because everything is like really normal with the way you guys check in with us. Like you're really strict, like, okay, now you're going to do this, you're going to remove this. And yeah, we really needed that, like someone who's saying exactly what we need to do.
Yeah, I remember also like Stefan, in the beginning, you showed me like how you set up everything and how everything worked. And I was like, okay, yeah, it looks great, but how are we going to do it?
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You are not able to build like any agency like in a few weeks or months. You have so much systems and team members and time and everything. But now, if we look back what we did because of your structure to do everything step by step, we built everything you showed like in the beginning.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. How do you guys see the market evolving in the future? Because the ecom agency space is a quickly evolving one. A lot of things happening in it. So how do you guys see it evolving for agencies in the future? Because maybe some people are watching as potential agency
Yeah.
or an existing agency. How do you guys see the future?
Yeah, the game is changing. So media buying as a separate service is nothing anymore. So you have to have like enough content. So if you see like our service, we are making like 5 till 10 ads each week for our clients. So content is key. You are not able to deliver a service without any content in e-commerce.
100%. 100%. And regarding like the advice to other people, we've now worked for, what is it, almost a year, as we said. What would you advise other people? Because people are watching this, they're skeptic, which is logical in this day and age, and they think, oh, there goes Stefan again with this crazy ads, and I'm now looking on a YouTube video with him, and why should I even consider doing anything regarding the blueprint or the systems or whatever? I'm doing fine. What would you guys tell that person, who are not your competitors, of course, to do potentially business with us?
Just do it and don't quit. I mean, if you really want to do something, you just have to go for it.
If you want to do it by yourself, it takes 3 years more. So if you want to save 3 years, go for Stefan.
Amazing. I love that, guys. And maybe one last thing. Is there anything that you guys want to leave the viewers with, any form of advice, any form of other than just going with us and because I'm super excited for you guys having and the goals it's ambitious, but it's doable. Why not, 50K a month? Why not, scale it to that point and have the team and then have you guys just manage it from the top and then just do whatever you want to do, like going to, different places, traveling or whatever. What form of advice would you like to leave the people with? Or maybe a small word of like encouragement, advice, whatever, that you could tell someone watching this and maybe looking to really scale their agency as well to 50K a month?
Yeah, like in addition, I thought like a few minutes before, like all the information you are giving us is not a secret. You have not like any special thing what no one can find on the internet. But the internet's overwhelming. So if you are like running your own agency and you want to scale and you're going to YouTube, it's like way too much with the information. So if you want to have like structure from someone who already have done it, then I will advise to save time, and time is money, to go for like a coaching program like you like you're doing.
100%. Juliette, you agree? Or anything else to add?
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Guys, I really want to thank you for the interview and giving your guys' insights on, I personally think, one of the more interesting stories in the blueprint, because we have a lot of people already starting in a specific niche and just building it there. You guys came in already running a really good business with local lead gen, and now, getting it to the point where you're going to just, you already have a team, you have the systems, you have the structure, you know what you want to hit. You guys have divided it perfectly, which we didn't end up going into, but maybe that could be a Dubai thing by the end of the year. If we do decide to do a mastermind in Dubai, maybe get you guys here as well and do a live podcast or something like that and see how far it then has come. I really want to thank you again for coming. And as I said, hopefully for the next 6 to 12 months to hit that milestone and then do maybe another one. Who knows where. So thank you so much.
Perfect.
And all of you guys, thank you also for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And if you want to check out, potentially, if you're an e-commerce brand and you want to maybe work with Micah and Juliette, check out the description down below. I think we'll maybe link your guys' website, or maybe I think they should be able to find you there, I think, right?
Of course.
And yeah, so we'll link that all down below. For now, thank you, Micah and Juliette, again. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.